Hey, World Stutter Network. Today we have Shane McCool. Now, first of all, Shane, how did you get such an awesome last name like that? I mean, McCool.
Got it from my father.
Gotcha. So do people tease you about that name? They think that you like made that up or changed it
No,
or
it was actually the coolest name in school. So
yeah.
everyone was kind of jealous of me. So yeah,
Shane McCool.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Um, so Shane's coming from Donegal, Ireland. His latest project is Stutter Connect. So Shane, um, we want to learn about you and about your new project. So first of all, man, tell us about yourself.
Firstly, Tom, thank you very much for having me on this platform, the World Stuttering Network. It's a great website, a great platform that you have. So thanks for all the good work that you've done for the people who stutter around the world, and keep doing what you're doing. It's fantastic work. So hi everyone, I'm a doctor. I'm a GP is what they call them here. In America, it's a family doctor, and I have been a family doctor for about 5 years time. And for the last 6 months, I've been running an online platform for people who stutter from around the world called Stutter Connect. So it's a free online platform for people who stutter to meet with one another, to phone one another, to encourage one another, to give each other tips and tricks about what helped them. There's no hierarchy. No one is more knowledgeable than the other person. Anyone can benefit from it. There's no I know more than you, or I'm more fluent than you, or I'm less fluent than you. Everyone has something to contribute to the platform. So no matter where you are or your past experiences in life, you're welcome to share them with everyone on the platform, and to help, if you're willing to help anyone with the stutter anywhere in the world, and or looking for help yourself. It's definitely a platform that people who stutter should think about joining, because it's free and it's something which I wish I had when I was young. Because stuttering, you can feel like you're the only person in the world with a stutter. Back in school, I was the only person in my class. I know I had the coolest name in school, but I still stuttered, and which was obviously very difficult because I
Yeah.
didn't know anyone else in the world. I thought I was the only one, and it wasn't spoken about in Ireland here. It's not spoken about with my family or with my friends. So Stutter Connect is a platform with which I had wish I had when I was young. So to normalize stuttering, to encourage people, to motivate them, to give them tips about how to navigate everything from job interviews, presentations, social interactions, working life. So anything and everything that can help someone who stutters from around the world, it's in Stutter Connect there. And we accept everyone's take. Obviously, there's different opinions about stuttering, about what can help you, what can't help you, but we want to hear it all. We want to hear, we want to amalgamate all of the information there to figure out what's actually helping or what's not helping. But there's no one size fits all too.
Very cool, man. Very McCool.
Yeah.
Hey, so you're a doctor, and that is really fascinating because um, much of your day is talking to people, talking to patients, um, conferring with other doctors, calling in prescriptions, all that stuff. So, heavily um, on the speaking side of things.
Yeah.
That's something you can sit at a keyboard all day and tape everything out and not have to talk. I mean, you're talking like
Yeah.
all day long.
Yeah.
Um, so how was when you first had that goal, when you first thought about medical school,
Mhm.
did you have any resistance because of your stutter? Did people look at you and say, "Well, you can't be a doctor. You stutter. How
Mhm.
about doing something else?"
Mhm.
How did that
Not
go for you?
necessarily. It was a big step. It was a big thing going from school to applying to medical school. Then it was a big step Definitely. It's like before you can swim, you're jumping in the swimming pool, and then you're figuring out how to swim as you're in the pool. That's what it felt like. So certainly, I was very young at the time. I was only 17 when I applied for medical school, and my mother encouraged me. My father encouraged me to join medical school, and obviously it was very difficult. I knew from day one it was going to be difficult. It was going to be hard, but I certainly I had a lot of self-doubt. I thought about how can I become a doctor with
Yeah,
a stutter, because my stutter in school was kind of a lot worse than it is now, and I was lacking control. So I don't know what gave me the confidence, but I got the confidence, and I'm so glad that I did. So I'm so glad that I had the confidence back then to say, yes, I can. I can try this. I'll try medical school for a while, even try it for a while, for a few months, and sure, if it's things are going pear-shaped, then I'll do something else. I'll work behind a keyboard, or I'll become a plumber or something. I'm not sure what other jobs, but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
certainly it was very challenging from the outset, because as soon as you hurt your first patient contact, when you have to speak to real people on the wards and the hospital wards, sick people on the wards, you have to take
yeah,
them a history. That can be very difficult, but certainly it's about exposure. From the very start, it was very difficult for me, but the more I was exposed to patients, the more I was exposed to situations that kind of challenged me, that challenged my speech, literally the better I got, because the more times you're exposed, the more you can reflect and self-analyze and reflect about what's working for you, but what's not working too. So the more action you have, the more times you fail, the more evidence you have to self-analyze and to change behavior going forward then. So certainly, I'm not 100% fluent. I think I'll never be cured from stuttering, but that's fine. I don't need a cure. I don't want a cure. I'm happy with my level of speech. I'm happy with my life. Stuttering doesn't bother me now. It used to bother my mental health quite a lot. It used to cause stress and anxiety, low self-esteem, all of those
yeah,
things.
sure,
But it doesn't
sure.
bother me now. And, that's my real goal, is to get to a certain point in your life when you're not bothered by it. You've reached freedom from your stuttering. Freedom to me, to someone else, might mean a different thing, but freedom to me isn't a complete cure. It's not complete fluency of speech. It's where your speech doesn't stop you from living the life that you truly want to live. It doesn't stop you. It doesn't challenge your mental health. You're not bothered by it. There are some days I stutter more when I'm sick, or when I have a viral infection, or when I'm lacking sleep or stressed. I certainly do. But
Yeah,
that's
for
okay.
sure.
That's okay. I've kind of come to realize that this isn't going away. There's no doctor magic pill that I can swallow every day and I'm going to be better. But that's fine. Too many people I see, they think, oh, when my stuttering has gone away, I will start living then. But no, that's false. You don't need to wait until you're cured. You need to start living now. You need to do daily action now to get better. That's my motto. That's my personal motto. Everyone's different, but that's what I think.
Yeah, so you won't be that type of person that says, "Well, I would have been a doctor if I didn't stutter." So
Yeah,
that that is that's the way to go, man.
yeah,
It
yeah,
really is. From my
yeah,
own experience, I was so focused on the actual stutter, and I
yeah.
was like, well, I'm gonna I'm gonna practice every day, and I should be able to um, um, it, after reading aloud
Yeah.
uh, fluently in my locked bedroom for days and days, I should be able just to
Mm.
go out and I should be able to speak just like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I realized that the key to this was to overcome the fear of stuttering. And
Yeah.
once I overcame the fear, then I started putting
Mm.
myself in these um, stressful speaking situations. And then I realized, well, these situations are stressful. It's not
Mm.
just because I stutter. The stutter
Yeah.
adds an extra component to it, that I might not have if I didn't stutter. But still,
Mm.
the situations themselves are stressful. So
Mm.
I started putting myself in those situations, And I think that, of course, I'm still working on the fear of stuttering, but I think when I began to conquer that fear, and when that fear started to disappear, that's what changed everything for me.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I can definitely relate to what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What works for you, Shane?
Well, there's lots of different things. It's an individualized approach. I suppose I every day before work, I read aloud for 10 minutes by myself every single day because that gets me warmed up. Because when I get my first patient in the room, I need to be warmed up. Because if I get up out of bed, I'll probably get into difficulty. But I like to be warmed up. So warm up my diaphragm, warm up my speaking, get used to speaking. So I speak aloud, read aloud anything for 10 minutes in the morning every single day. And that's a good start for me. It kind of starts off my day with a bit of confidence and control too. But obviously, what works for me, I mean, I put in random voluntary stuttering as well. So sometimes with patients, they don't even know. They're too busy about their own medical problem to worry about to see that I voluntarily stuttered there. So I might
Oh, yeah.
say,
Yeah.
if my first question is, how can I help you? I might say, how can I help you? Just simple wee things like that. They won't even know it. I'm doing it, but I put that into my day. Even when I'm speaking on the phone, I say, hi, it's Dr. McCool. Sometimes I emphasize the M. I just put these wee nuggets of voluntary stuttering in my day as well, which keeps me right because if I try to be 100% fluent all of the time, I know I can't keep that up. I won't keep that up. I need to be putting wee nuggets of voluntary stuttering throughout the day. So, hi, I'm Dr. McCool. How can I help you? Or I'm calling you back about your blood test. Just simple things. And patients don't care. The fluent speaker does not care about our speech as much as we think that they really care about how Tom speaks or how Shane speaks. They don't care, which is great.
Isn't that the
But
truth?
we're so
Yeah.
obsessed with our speech and our fluency
Yeah.
and how we sound. But fluent speakers, they literally don't think about speech. They don't think about your speech or my speech. They're not thinking about how we say things. So if we sometimes add a wee voluntary stuttering, I find that there gives a bit more control because my my subconscious stuttering mind is obsessed, but it used to be more obsessed with hiding it. So I try to voluntary stutter a bit, just add tactical voluntary stutterings. And that really helps me regain control because it's my authentic self. I can't be a fluent speaker. I can't speak all day, see 30 patients every day and 40 patients because I know I'll
Yeah.
get to the point where the wheels will come off. So I need to kind of tactically thinking about how I'm going to kind of get through this day and every
Yeah.
day as a learning day as well. And then at the end of the day, if I had a good day or if I had a bad day, I think why is that? I try to self analyze every single day and I think what worked well. Did I sleep well the night before? Was I stressed about something? Did I read aloud in the morning? Did I not do any voluntary stutterings? As what can I do better? And I know this day mightn't have went that well, but tomorrow, what can I do then? So every day you're getting better. Every day your speech is getting 1% better as well. And I try not to avoid anything. I try to not avoid any speaking scenarios, any podcasts. Obviously, this is kind of stressful, but exciting as well. I try not to avoid these things. I try to say yes to them because my previous self wouldn't have went on any podcast, wouldn't have been speaking on the phone. I mean, this is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But I suppose that daily action and self analyzing over time and reflection about what works best for Shane because I'm different from Tom. You're different from me. What works for you and what helps you in your journey will be different that works well for me. But everyone's different. And sometimes people can have a severe stutter as well. You see them and I see them as well. People can't get a word out age-wise. What will help them in their journey is different from what's going to help me or you. So everyone's at a different stage. Everyone's at mild stutter, moderate, severe. Some people are overt, some people are covert as well. But what kind of helps me in my life is different what helps you, but everyone is on their own journey, their own path. But the same principles ring true. You know, being courageous in your day and facing them fears and having a hierarchy of fears. One thing that I used to do is I wrote down a hierarchy of my fears. You know, from doing a podcast, it would be very high up in the hierarchy of fears, to introducing myself, to speaking to someone on the street. And I started to tick these things off. You know, speaking on the phone, I started to tick these things off, hierarchy of fears. And all of a sudden I was like, I've done all of these things. You know, and that by facing the fear, by action, confidence happens then. So confidence happens by daily action, daily proof that you can do it. You can do it in the real world, because it's all about the real world. I mean, it's all about, you know, taking these things and doing it in the real world, where no one will be clapping you. You know, no one will be clapping Shane when he does a voluntary stuttering, when he reads aloud in the morning time. You know, no one's vouching for me at that time. It takes me. I have to clap yourself. So that's what I think. You know.
Wow.
Sorry, that's a lot to unpack. Sorry, there's a lot to unpack.
No, 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 no. Great. Yeah, I find that you warm up your diaphragm, find that very practical, because when you see professional singers, I mean, you see them back in the green room and you see them behind stage before they get
Yeah,
out on stage and they sing opera. They're back with the um, um, vocal range, and you see them back, backstage. They're practicing. They
yeah,
just don't walk out on stage and start singing opera. So
yeah,
that, I mean, really makes sense.
yeah,
Um, Something else that you touched on, you said that maintaining fluency was exhausting, and that I
yeah,
and that it sounds like that the voluntary stuttering kind of gives you a break and gives you a
yeah,
chance maybe to rest. And so I
yeah,
was picturing in my mind as you were talking, about doing a marathon, and you get
yeah,
your
yeah,
water stations and
yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
and you get a little bit of a break. So
yeah.
I was picturing that as you were talking, and yeah, sales calls. I'm on a sales call, and man, I got 20 seconds for a good first impression and 2 minutes to close the deal. And the
Mm-hmm.
sales calls, they usually last about an hour, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
selling, myself and our product and our services and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm like wiped out
Yeah,
after a
yeah,
sales call, and
uh-huh.
doing
Yeah,
the public speaking. I mean, if I
yeah.
get on stage and I'm in a Toastmaster contest, and yeah, it feels like I ran a marathon after I'm
It
done.
does.
So
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, um, maintaining smooth speech can
mm-hmm.
be exhausting.
Yeah,
So what's fascinating is that our Annie, who's 24, she has a significant stutter. And
okay.
so she talks about how having a significant stutter is exhausting, and that wipes
Yeah,
her out also. So
yeah,
not only does maintaining smooth speech, not only is
mm-hmm.
that exhausting, but on the other end, on the other side of it, is exhausting also.
Yeah,
So I think it's really um, it's fascinating that you put in some voluntary stutter. And I
yeah,
know in the book Self Therapy by Malcolm Frazier, he talks about voluntary stuttering and how
yeah,
important that is. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
good
So, but
stuff.
But as well, one more thing, Tom, I would say people that stutter as well, we're obsessed about the actual speech, but how you say things. But I think communication, there's a lot more to it than just how you sound. There's a lot more aspects to it, because people that stutter, we don't actually hear what the other person has to say some of the time, because we're so self-obsessed about how we're going to say the next thing, how we're going to switch the next
Yeah,
word to say
yeah,
the right thing. But part of the skills is to be able to listen to other people as well. So Kind of the approach to stuttering as well shouldn't be just about how you say those words. It's about the communication. Are you interested in the other person? Are you listening? Are you genuinely listening to the other person as well? Are you using eye contact? Do you smile? Is your posture good? Are you a good speaker? So being a good speaker isn't just being a good communicator, isn't just about the words and how you say them. There's a lot more to it. But I think people that stutter as well are too obsessed about how they actually say things. But there's a lot more to it. It's about listening to the other person as well, developing charisma, developing social skills, because social skills today, you need to develop them over time. It's a skill, because any sport, if you play tennis or basketball, you need to kind of develop those skills and practice those skills in the real world by speaking to people, being interested in them, listening to them, using hand gestures, smiling, eye contact, posture. But these are the things that people that stutter don't think of, because they're quite obsessed with speech. And I can see obviously why they are obsessed with speech. But there's certainly, if you want to become a great communicator, there's a lot more to it. Just saying how you say something is a part of it, but not the whole part. And the other parts, I think people that stutter neglect and forget those parts. They think, if I can just get to the point where I can physically say those words, then I'll be a great communicator then, which is not true. You need to have the whole package.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know but obviously it does start with kind of gaining confidence in terms of your speech as well, and getting to a certain level of speech where your confidence is high, and having a few daily wins in the real world to prove to yourself that you can do it, because confidence just doesn't come from me sitting in a room and County Donegal telling everyone I'm going to be fluent today, I'm going to be fluent. That's not where confidence comes. Confidence comes from doing it in the real world and having the courage to fail, and then doing it the next time, and doing it slightly better the next time, and doing it slightly better. And over time, the snowball gets bigger, and all of a sudden you get to the point where your confidence is high and you're feeling good about your speech. So, but it takes a
Yeah.
long time, daily action, daily practice over a long period of time, kind of thing. If that
Yeah.
makes sense. Does that make sense?
Absolutely makes sense. I found the stuttering support community about 30 years ago. And I remember, there was T-shirts that said this, and people would just repeat this over and over again, that stuttering teaches the world to listen, and that people who stutter are great listeners. That concept, they were very heavy on that concept. And I would self-reflect on that, and I think, man, I'm a horrible listener.
Yeah,
Because of my
I know.
stuttering, I'm
Yeah,
horrible. I'm not really
yeah,
listening to what the other person's saying.
I
I,
know.
I, I'm, I'm planning my escape from this situation
Yeah,
where I don't
yeah,
have to talk, or I'm so focused on, well,
yeah,
how can I respond
yeah,
to that? I need to
yeah,
find the words that I want to say. I was a horrible listener,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it's when
yeah,
I start really listening to the other person, and
yeah,
not focus on starting my sound or starting
yeah,
my word. When I
yeah,
really
yeah,
just sat, I just stopped. I
yeah,
had to just stop that stuttering mind and that stuttering
yeah,
mindset, and just
mhm,
listen to them.
yeah,
Yeah, it affected my speech. It
mhm,
affected my stuttering. It
yeah,
it helped me to get comfortable,
yeah,
and not be in
yeah, yeah,
this high state of stress all the time.
exactly.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
there's two parts to the body. I don't know if you know this, but there's the parasympathetic nervous system, and there's the sympathetic nervous system as well. So the sympathetic nervous system is that fight or flight. You're in your constant state of fear. You're going in constant state of worry. Whereas, sorry, the parasympathetic nervous system, that's rest and digest. It's called. That's when you're chilling on the couch, nothing to worry about, everything's good. You rest and digest. So it's about moving from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system in the real world, because people that stutter with heightened fear, cortisol levels, anxiety. They're in the sympathetic nervous system. It's about getting from the sympathetic nervous system into the parasympathetic, that you're more comfortable. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's no saber-toothed tiger going to run and going to kill you. There's no big brown bear running to kill you. You know, there's no, people that stutter, they're in the sympathetic nervous system quite a lot, which if you're in that state quite a lot, there's high cortisol levels and it causes
Yeah.
stress. So
Yeah.
unnecessarily stress. And that's why it's so exhausting as well, is because stress can cause exhaustion as well. So, but it's to get into the parasympathetic nervous system as well by trying to show the world who you truly are by voluntary stuttering or whatever works for you to be comfortable. Try to get comfortable. There's nothing to be afraid about. There's nothing to worry. There's no big bear going to eat you up. Do you know what I mean? What's the worst that can happen? What is the worst? What is the worst that can happen? And is the worst that can happen? Is it that bad? No, it's actually not. I blocked is the worst that can happen.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
grand.
Yeah.
So
So you
anyway,
talked about before, about being so focused on your stuttering, and I mean, I used to think that people kept a running tab on how many
yeah,
times I stuttered and blocked
yeah, yeah,
throughout the
yeah,
day. Oh, they're paying attention to all
yeah,
this. I
yeah,
stuttered on that last word. Oh, it's they think less of me, and all these thoughts.
yeah.
But then
I
I
know.
realized,
Yeah,
man, everybody is
mm,
focused on themselves. you know,
exactly, exactly. Remember,
especially today. I mean, it's
exactly,
different now. Everyone is just
exactly.
so consumed with all
Yeah,
this other stuff.
exactly.
They're consumed with social media
I
and
know. Yeah,
their next TikTok video and how to get more
exactly.
likes and all this.
I
It's
know.
crazy.
It is
They're
crazy world.
they're less focused on our stutter than ever. So
Exactly.
something that you touched on. Okay, so what do you think with the increased levels of cortisol that people who stutter experience throughout life? What do you think that does to our health in the later years?
Yeah, stress is a massive factor. Stress is basically a risk factor for all things, risk factor for cardiovascular disease, cancer, a lot of autoimmune problems can be exacerbated by stress. I mean, sometimes people's skin trouble gets exacerbated by stress. So stress is people talk about smoking. Smoking obviously is bad for your health and alcohol, but the one thing that I see that people are affecting their physical and their mental health as well is stress as well. And chronic stress is a massive risk factor. And unfortunately as well, people that stutter, a lot of them suffer with chronic stress, but it's about getting to the point where you're not stressed by the stutter. You're gone from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic as well, because chronic stress can make you a risk factor. If you're smoker and stress, I mean, smoking and stress and drinking alcohol and overweight and diabetic, I mean, this is when the physical health trouble starts as well. But there's various things you can do for stress. Really, it's kind of exercising, sleeping well, kind of not spending too much time on social media as well, connecting with people in the real world, getting outside more, getting in nature more, because that will reduce your cortisol levels and reduce your blood pressure as well. It'll reduce your chance of getting cardiovascular disease, cancer, autoimmunity, various different problems with skin as well. And it'll also benefit your mental health as well, because the physical body and the mental brain, they're intertwined. They're not a separate thing. Do you ever get when you're anxious, yeah, people feel it in their stomach? I got butterflies in the stomach. Your brain is connected
Yeah,
to your
sure.
gut. And if if you're in good physical health, your mental health will be better as well. But if you're in bad physical health, if you have a flu, you're bedbound for 2 or 3 days, your brain, you won't be in a happy mood. You'll be suffering with a bit of depression, feeling sorry for yourself. So it's intertwined as well. But chronic stress, I find, is the thing that's not spoken about enough of a risk factor as
Yeah.
well, because certainly things, certainly something which people should think about. You know, obviously reducing your weight, reducing your sugar, reducing your alcohol, reducing smoking or stop smoking, sleeping better. But stress is a massive thing as well, because this modern world, it can be stressful, and how you deal with stress too. Because life will be stressful. You can't avoid all stress because bad things happen, but it's how you respond to those bad things. But certainly, one thing that you can control in terms of your stress, your stutter shouldn't cause you that much stress. I think too many people that stutter are too bothered by it, and it's causing them too much stress. It doesn't need to cause them the stress levels that it's causing them. So I think stuttering is for the most part, it's a controllable stress. You know, it's something you can control. And I think people that stutter should start to kind of control that stress more and find ways in their life what works best for them, mindfulness, breathing, whatever works to reduce that stress, because it's something what I find isn't spoken about. Yeah. So does that make sense?
Yes, yes. So uh, the stress relieving methods
Mm,
that are commonly used, they
mm.
they can indirectly affect stuttering.
Yeah. Yes. If you reduce your lifestyle stress by doing those positive lifestyle things, such as, you know, that will definitely help your speech. Because if you're in a better place in terms of your mental health, in terms of your chronic stress, your speech will be better too. You'll be more control of your speech. You'll be in a better state of mind. But it's about doing the simple things. It's keeping it simple. Are you sleeping well at night? Are you drinking alcohol? Are you taking drugs? Are you smoking? Do you have social group? Do you have friends? Do you have a supportive family? Do you try mindfulness as well? Because these phones, the thing that I'm speaking to you on now, the actual smartphone, that can perpetuate stress as well. As we get up in the morning, we scroll. Our mind is always thinking, always distracted by the news, distracted by something. I think having 10 minutes in the morning away from your phone, just away from your phone, even to look at the wall, even to look outside, to look at a tree, literally, just let your brain wander, let your brain wander for the day. You know, you'll find things, that goals that you want to do in life. You'll literally, if you sit there and think, because we don't even have any time anymore to sit there and think, because we're told what to think by phones, by CNN, by Fox, whatever, by the news. You know, we're literally told, our brains are literally told what to think. We get up in the morning and we're told what to think, and we don't have any time anymore away from the phone. At least 10 minutes every day should be away from the phone, even to go for a walk. Leave the phone at home, to just go for a walk and to just think. What are you thinking about? What are you worried about? Where is your life going? You know, what are your concerns? Because to get away from the phone, I think can certainly help, because too many people, young people, oh my God, they're always on their phone. They're walking down the street, they're crossing their road on their phone. You know, they're literally go to the bathroom on their phone. They're eating on their phone. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's not a healthy thing. It's crazy out there, right?
Yeah, yeah. So some research a couple years ago that said that they have found that people are developing a bone spur because their neck
Yeah,
is like this
yeah, yeah.
all day long. So they're finding that some of
Uh,
these kids are developing um, bone
yeah.
spurs just because
That's
their
crazy.
head is always tilted
It's
forward all day long,
it's
looking at their
crazy out
phones. And
there.
yeah, yeah.
I know.
So the stress release.
Mm,
So it sounds like you're saying there's a natural way to
mm,
relieve stress,
yeah,
and then there's an artificial way that people try to relieve stress, like through their phone, social media, but
yeah,
it's not really stress releasing, it's stress inducing. So the artificial
mm,
uh, doesn't really help. So what
no,
you're recommending is more of a natural,
yeah,
just, 10, 15 minutes,
yeah,
um, just to get to a base level
yeah,
stress,
yeah.
anxiety. So
Yes, yeah, yes. Because as soon as we get up in the morning, obviously we look at the phones and the stress happens. We're in the sympathetic nervous system then. And so the sympathetic is the fight or flight. We looked at the next, the next foreign war, or the next terrible pandemic, or the cost of living
Yeah.
crisis, whatever crisis. So all of a sudden the cortisol in our bodies is slightly higher. We're in the sympathetic nervous system then. And I suppose that's not going to help your speech. Will that help your speech? No. I mean, you need to get into the parasympathetic, the rest and digest, the chilling, the relaxation mode. Because if you're in relaxation mode, parasympathetic, your cortisol levels will be lower, and you will be more control over your speech then, kind of thing. Yeah. So that's what I
There
think.
really hasn't been any research. Maybe a listener has stumbled on research about the actual physical health risk of a lifetime of stuttering. With all
Yeah.
this increased anxiety, increased stress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
it's so important to
Mm.
try to stay healthy
Yeah.
and to have regular um, workouts, try to stay fit,
Exactly.
trying
Yes.
to get adequate rest,
Mm.
play, um,
Yes.
things that just allow you to disconnect from all the
Mm.
everyday stress
Yeah.
and anxieties.
Yes.
How it's even more important for people who stutter to really to carve out time in their lives
Yeah.
for that.
Yes.
So yeah, yeah,
Yeah. No, I think so.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That
good.
is so. These two systems, that I have never heard of this concept before, and it really
Uh,
um, fascinates me. So,
Yeah.
how did you discover that, or how did you come up um, with that comparison? How'd you
Well, I
figure that
suppose
out, McCool?
McCool figured it out.
I
I
just
can
like
figure it.
saying
Yeah.
your last name,
Yeah.
McCool.
It's actually
How'd you figure that out?
I figured it out. Well, I suppose those concepts they were taught to me in medical school.
Oh,
They were
okay.
literally taught to me. So it's something that we learned about, and we learned about cortisol, we learned about stress, we learned about
Yeah.
sympathetic nervous system. So it's not something I sat at a tree one day thinking, and sat at a tree looking at the tree outside, and it came to me, oh my God, they can apple fell from the tree, and my life changed, and I had to share this with the world. I mean, this is a known thing, but anyway, yeah. So anyway,
But you
so
took those two systems and you said, this applies to stuttering. I can
it
see
does.
how it
Yeah.
relates to stuttering.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So how do you stay out of the s- um sympath I know it's not called sympathetic, but it's something
yeah. Yeah.
how do you stay out of that system personally?
So
How do
yes,
you do
you're
it?
right. So it's called the sympathetic nervous system. It's called. So how do I
Okay.
stay out of it? Well, there's a lot of different things. I suppose sleep is very important. I mean, sleep, you have to prioritize sleep, spend less time on your phone, exercise every day. Like I do exercise every single day, but I try to get my sweat up at least 5 or 6 days every single week. And kind of I don't use much alcohol. I used to binge in college. Those college days are long past now. I'm a doctor now, but I certainly, when I don't
Yeah.
drink for a period of time, obviously, where I'm from, and a part of the world where I'm from, people love alcohol in this part of the world. We go to a funeral, a wedding. There's a bit of good
Guinness.
news. Yeah, there's a bit of good news. We take a drink. There's a bit of bad news. We take a drink. It's sunny. We take a drink. It's rainy. We take a drink. So every option is like take a drink. So I literally reduced my alcohol use quite a lot over the last few months, which has really helped me as well because all of a sudden I'm sleeping better and exercising more. I spend
Yeah.
less time on my phone. I do, but obviously with my group as well, my Stutter Connect group, that's a form of volunteering for me. I'm giving my time to
Yeah.
help. And when I'm given my time as well, that makes me feel good about myself because I'm actually helping people that I've never met from around the world, and I help someone. That's great. That's fantastic. And they message me back how I helped them, and that gives me the dopamine hits as well. This is great. They're getting better. I'm getting better. It's all good.
Yeah.
So it's a whole lifestyle thing. It's all about the basics. You have to get the basics: exercise, sleep, no alcohol or drugs, good people in your life, good family, good friends, that having a positive attitude for life too, pursuing your goals, volunteering, helping other people. So by doing those various different things, it has helped me reduce my stress. But obviously, being a doctor is stressful. My job is stressful. But
Yeah.
right after
Yeah.
a day's work,
Yeah.
right after a day's work, I go for about half an hour run, and I get my sweat on, and all of a sudden my stress literally is gone then. So I don't go to the pub and have a few pints of beer or anything.
Yeah.
I go straight and get my sweat on, which really helps me. And I reset. I'm in a better mood, and I forget about my day's work, forget about the stressors there. So it's about kind of dealing with stress, because some people don't deal with stress right as well. They kind of take to alcohol and drugs. They, various other different things. They spend too much time on their phone. They, so it's about how you manage stress as well. Do positive lifestyle habits to deal with stress. But going for a run for half an hour really is great. If someone told me now, Shane, you can't exercise anymore, you can't go to the gym anymore, you can't go for a run anymore, I was like thinking, oh my God, my life is over. Like literally, it's a
Yeah.
savior. Like,
Yeah.
so that's what helps me.
Yeah. So it's not so much doing a 3 week workout plan. I mean, it sounds like that you've made the regular exercise. It's part of
Yeah.
your lifestyle.
Yes. Oh, yes, yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And some of the days I don't feel like it. Most days I don't feel
Yeah.
like it. I don't feel like, I have to get on my running shoes again. I'm getting old. I'm in my 30s now. I can feel what's that creaking? Where's that pain? There's a thousand. I find it's about anything else. You can literally make up 1,000 excuses not to do that thing, but you should do it. But you can have 1,000 excuses, but then when you do it, you feel fantastic. It's like, yes, I've done it. Yes, today is going to be a good day, no matter what happened in that day, no matter how bad or stressful that day is, no matter if I blocked in a word, it doesn't matter. Like, this is grand, this is good. Like, it's about doing those positive things, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
mean,
So what advice do you have to young people who stutter that are considering a medical career? I mean, especially doctor, you know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
People have contacted me and asked me, well, I really want to be a doctor, but I stutter, or I
mhm,
really want to do this, but I stutter.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
What do you tell these young people when you receive such calls, or
yeah, yeah,
you receive that type of email? What do
yeah,
you
yeah.
say to them, McCool?
Here's McCool's advice. McCool, from McCool to you. But certainly, like, I know how they feel. I've been there many years ago as well. I've
Yeah.
been there, but you don't have to wait, because people think, how can I do this thing because I suffer with this stuttering problem? Too many people wait until I become fluent. Oh, when I become fluent, I can do the thing. I can achieve the thing. You don't have to wait until you become fluent. Whatever you want to do in life, you can do it. No matter how you sound, no matter how you speak, you can be a great communicator even though you stutter. It can actually make you better in some ways. You'll be more resilient, more courageous, hard working as well, which these are various different life skills that you really need to have working as a doctor as well. I think I'm a better doctor having gone through a stutter, as I'm more hardworking. I'm more resilient as well. I'm better at dealing with stress. I work harder. So I definitely feel that I'm actually a better version of a doctor by having gone through this,
Oh, okay.
because if you
Okay.
have gone through adversity, any adversity in life, I feel that, and you've come through it, it's like you've got the confidence. Then you've got I've come through that, I've done it. Whereas if you're just given an easy ride in life, you don't develop any. resilience in life, because you haven't shown yourself that you've come through something hard. But I would definitely tell someone who's younger, thinking of becoming a doctor, if you want to become a doctor, you can. If you want to become a vet, you can. If you want to become anything, you can do it. You know, but speech shouldn't hold you back. You know, you might not be able to become those things for various different reasons. Maybe it's your school grades, maybe it's the fact that whatever, but stuttering doesn't have to hold you back. You can
Yeah.
do all of those things despite having a stutter. So that's what I wish someone had told me. But I don't know why I jumped in the deep end of that swimming pool, but I did. But
Yeah.
thankfully I did,
Yeah.
because if I didn't, I would be doing probably a job that's behind a keyboard, that I don't have to speak, the safe
Yeah.
job. I mean, I don't want to live the safe life. Like, life is too short. You only get one. So I don't want to live that safe life. Live the life of fear. I want to face my fears. I don't want. I want to live the brave life. I want to make the brave choice. And by making the brave choice in like life, that's making me more fulfilled. So, like, if I lived a life that in fear, whereas a fear to the world, I was afraid to do all those things, then I wouldn't have achieved half of the things that I have now. So I'm glad that I had the courage and I was brave. So any young person as well, make the brave choice, and whatever you want to do in life, you can do it. And a stutter doesn't have to hold you back, is what I would say. From McCool to you.
You have so many good quotes from this podcast. Like, uh, I keep writing them down. Like, stuttering makes me a better version of a doctor. I've got you. Um, uh, that's one of your quotes, and also make the brave choice. I think
Yeah, yeah,
that is a tremendously powerful four-word phrase.
yeah,
Make the brave choice, because
yeah,
that's what it is. We uh, I've been in situations where, yeah, I mean, it's real fear. I mean, I'm
mm,
experienced. It's real. I'm
yeah,
really afraid
mm,
to do this. And
yeah,
it's not jumping off a
mm,
a 3 meter board, or it's not jumping out of a plane going skydiving, but it's that same type of fear. I mean, fear of making a phone call,
yeah,
so making that brave choice, that's a
yeah.
powerful phrase, McCool.
Yes, yes,
That's
yes.
cool. It really
Make the
is.
brave choice. Do it. Do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow, wow. Well, I really appreciate you spending this time with me during this podcast. We're going to start talking more and more about the effect of good health and fitness on stuttering, and
Yeah,
what that does to our
for
mental
sure.
health, and that's
Yeah,
something that we need to just really uh, uh, advocate for, to promote,
yeah,
especially among these young people. Because we've seen the positive effects. So we're gonna start talking about that more.
yeah.
I did not expect us to talk about this that during this podcast, but of course it makes sense. You're a doctor, so of course you're going to talk about this stuff. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
I mean, I really want to thank you for taking time in your busy schedule. I mean, I can't even imagine what the life of a doctor, and everything that you have to accomplish every single day. I mean,
Mm,
I
mm.
think that I'm busy. I'm probably a tenth as busy as you are. So I
Oh,
really
well.
appreciate you taking this time. I mean, it shows your serving heart to the stuttering community. So
Yeah,
thank you,
yeah.
Dr. McCool. I
Thank you
really,
very much, Tom. And
yeah,
thank you very much, Tom, for having me on.
yeah,
Um, so my thing is, if I can do it, you can all do it too. Anyone watching
yeah.
this podcast can do it too, because I was a moderate to severe stutter in school, and if I can do it, you can do it too. So yeah,
right there with you.
Okay,
Okay,
Tom.
well, thank you once again.
Thank you.
Pleasure meeting you
Same,
and getting to know you. So we
same, Tom.
our paths are going to cross many times.
Yeah,
I
for
can already
sure. Yeah,
tell.
yeah,
Okay.
for sure, Tom.
So I will stop the podcast now. Stop recording. Okay.